I'm VJ Hamilton and welcome to the Autoimmune Reset, the place for you to learn how to thrive with autoimmune disease and feel empowered to take steps to transform your health to feel better than ever. You can start making changes today to improve your health. So with every episode, my mission is to share with you simple ways to up-level your diet and lifestyle with key learnings from my own journey reversing autoimmune disease and inspirational stories from those who have reset their autoimmune symptoms and are now thriving in life. I suffered from autoimmune disease for over 25 years and now I live symptom-free, and I wish the same for you as well. So thank you for being here and sharing this time with me. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome back to another Friday 5 episode of the Autoimmune Reset podcast. I'm your host VJ Hamilton. I'm a nutritionist, scientist and expert in autoimmune disease. And today I'm sharing something a little more personal. I'm sharing my 5 favourite nutrients for skin health. These are products I've used myself and I recommend them in clinic and really see them making a difference for clients with things like eczema, psoriasis, hives, rosacea and breakouts. And also just when clients are experiencing a lot of dry, dull skin, it can really make a big difference. And even when they're struggling with their mucosal membranes, so they might have dry eyes, dry mouth, I've seen these make a difference. But today we're talking specifically about skin. Before we dive in, I just want to make a quick disclosure that I am an affiliate of BodyBio, and that is the company that makes the products that I will be mentioning today. And that means if you use my link, which I'm going to be putting in the show notes, I will receive a small commission. But here's the important part. I was talking about these nutrients and even mentioning them in places like Cosmopolitan magazine long before BodyBio ever reached out to me. And in fact, that's how they connected with me in the first place, because they'd seen that I'd recommended one of their products in the article, and I'll link to the article in the show notes if you want to read it. And the article is specifically around gut health. I genuinely love their products. I have been using them myself, and I am recommending them more and more to clients and seeing some really good results with them. And of course, you absolutely don't need to use my affiliate link. I share this because I know when I was first starting out on my own health journey, I just wanted someone to point me towards what was actually available out there. And that's why I do these episodes, to give you options and ideas, and then you can decide what feels right for you. And of course, please always consult your healthcare practitioner before trying any new products, especially if you're on medications or managing a complex health condition. All right, well, let's get into today's Friday 5. The first nutrient I want to talk to you about is evening primrose oil. And evening primrose oil is rich in gamma-linolenic acid, which is often referred to as GLA. And it's an omega-6 fatty acid that helps to rebuild and repair the skin barrier. Now, this is particularly important if you're struggling with eczema, atopic dermatitis, or very dry and flaky skin. I've used this clinically in people who have stubborn eczema patches, brittle nails, and even in those who feel like their skin just can't hold on to the hydration no matter how much cream they put on. And I know when I was going for testing, and I think I was going for some IV vitamins, and I remember the doctor just feeling my skin and saying how dry it was at the time. And it was very dry, and it was very obviously dry as well. It was quite flaky. But by giving the body the building blocks from within, you can often see a more supple, moisturized skin barrier. But it doesn't just stop at skin. Because of its anti-inflammatory and barrier-supporting properties, evening primrose oil can also help support mucosal tissues, the delicate membranes that line areas like the mouth, the eyes, and the respiratory tract. That's why some people with conditions like Sjögren syndrome, which often causes dryness of the eyes and mouth, find evening primrose oil a useful supportive nutrient. While it's clearly not a cure, it can be one of the tools that helps provide more comfort and resilience in those tissues. And studies have shown that when GLA is used alongside an omega-3, it can be extremely beneficial, especially in conditions like psoriasis. Then we have liposomal vitamin C. And vitamin C is well known as an antioxidant, but in the context of skin health, it's also essential for collagen production. Without enough vitamin C, collagen simply doesn't form properly, which is why historically sailors with scurvy had wounds that wouldn't heal and the skin would break down. For my clients, liposomal vitamin C can be helpful if they're dealing with slower wound healing. They might notice that they are bruising more and the bruises stay for a long period of time. They might have had acne scarring in the past, or just noticing that they are aging faster and having a lot of premature fine lines. It's gentler on the gut and it is better absorbed, which is really important for people with sensitive digestion or autoimmune conditions. But here's the bigger picture. Skin isn't just about what we see on the outside. The skin barrier is intrinsically connected to the gut barrier through what we call the gut-skin axis. If the gut barrier is damaged, often referred to as leaky gut, then inflammatory molecules, toxins, and undigested food particles can pass into the bloodstream, driving systemic inflammation that often shows up on the skin. And conditions like rosacea, acne, psoriasis, and eczema are all strongly linked to gut health. Vitamin C supports both of these barriers by strengthening collagen in the skin and the gut lining. It plays a dual role in helping to reduce that inflammatory loop that we see in both those issues. So when I'm looking at skin health, vitamin C isn't just about smoothing wrinkles, it's about reinforcing those deeper, less visible barriers that keep inflammation in check. Then we have phosphatidylcholine. This is one of my absolute favourite nutrients because it supports the health of every single cell membrane in the body. And skin is just billions of cells stacked together. When the cell membranes are healthy, they're going to be flexible and resilient, and that translates into plumper, more resilient skin from the outside. But PC doesn't just stop there. It supports the gut lining and the liver. And we know if your gut and liver are struggling, your skin often shows it. And things like breakouts, unexplained rashes, rosacea can all have a root in gut and liver dysfunction. Another key role of PC is methylation, which is the fundamental biochemical process that turns genes on and off, helps detoxifying hormones and toxins, and even regulates inflammation. And when methylation is sluggish, you might see symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, or even just higher amounts of inflammation in your body. But it also shows up on the skin as poor repair, uneven tone, and reduced ability to handle stressors. It can also be a contributing factor in hair loss conditions, and you can do a methylation panel to look at your methylation nutrients and look for any blockages in your methylation system in the body. And when I'm working with clients with alopecia, they will often have some issues with methylation. By supporting methylation, PC helps keep these internal pathways running smoothly, which ultimately reflects in healthier, calmer skin, and for those with hair loss, regrowth again. So PC is like the inside-out nutrient that works both on the source and the symptoms, supporting membranes, gut, liver, and even methylation, all which have a direct knock-on effect to skin health. Fourth on the list is Resolvins, which are sometimes called SPMs, specialized pro-resolving mediators. And these are fascinating molecules derived from omega-3 fatty acids. But here's the difference. While omega-3s are the raw materials, SPMs are the active end products your body actually uses to turn off inflammation and guide tissues back to balance. I've been using these more and more in clinics. I still like omega-3s and I will still be using them with some clients, especially when I'm working with children, but I really like these SPMs now and I've seen some really good results in my clients' symptoms improving, especially when it comes to inflammation. Omega-3s are brilliant nutrients, but in people with chronic inflammation or autoimmune conditions, the body doesn't always efficiently convert them into these pro-resolving molecules. And that means you can take all the fish oil in the world, but if your body isn't making enough SPMs, inflammation may stay stuck in this smoldering state. SPMs bypass that bottleneck by giving you the finished compounds directly. Instead of just damping down the fire, they actively help the body switch from an inflammatory phase to a healing phase. For skin, this is a game changer in conditions where inflammation lingers beneath the surface. Think about psoriasis plaques that won't settle or chronic hives that keeps coming back, both of which I've experienced myself. or skin that's persistently red, sore and inflamed after flare-ups. By supporting that resolution pathway, SPMs don't just reduce symptoms, they help the skin complete its natural healing cycle. And clients often tell me that their skin feels calmer, less reactive and quicker to recover when they use SPMs in a way that goes beyond what they've experienced with standard fish oils alone. And lastly, we have Remineralise, which is a fairly new product at BodyBio, and I choose BodyBio's electrolyte blend, E-Light, which I also like. But for skin specifically, Remineralise takes the win. It's a blend of trace minerals that help with hydration, barrier repair and enzymatic activity in the skin. And minerals like zinc, magnesium and silica are low in people with autoimmune conditions or those on restricted diet, and the skin really suffers for it, and the hair as well. And this can show up as dullness, poor elasticity, slow healing, and that paper thin feel that some skin has. And I just think back to when I had very dry skin, it felt very thin as well. But here's what's really important to understand. It's not just about drinking more and more water to stay hydrated. If you've ever felt like you're constantly sipping water but your skin is still dry, it may be because your body isn't holding on to that fluid properly. And I went through this as well. I would drink so much water and I would still feel incredibly thirsty, because hydration at the cellular level depends on osmosis, the movement of water across the membranes, which requires the right balance of electrolytes and minerals. Without enough minerals, water just moves straight through you rather than being pulled into the cells where it's needed. That's why topping up trace minerals can make such a visible difference in your skin. Instead of the water passing through your cells, including your skin cells, they will actually retain and use the hydration, leading to plumper, healthier looking skin. So Remineralise isn't just about adding another supplement. It's about helping the water you already drink do its job, supporting enzymatic reactions for collagen, antioxidant defense and barrier repair all at the same time. So to recap, my 5 favorite BodyBio nutrients for skin health are evening primrose oil for barrier repair, eczema and even mucosal support. There's Liposomal Vitamin C for collagen, wound healing and strengthening both the skin and the gut barrier. Then we have Phosphatidylcholine for cell membranes, liver, gut lining and even methylation. Resolvins or SPMs to actively resolve stubborn skin inflammation. Remineralise for hydration, osmosis and keeping the skin plump and resilient. And remember, you don't need to take all these at once. Choose what feels most relevant and always consult with your practitioner if you are thinking about taking any new supplements. BodyBio are running a 20% sale until Tuesday, the 2nd of September. I will put the link to the BodyBio products in the show notes for both the UK and US. So if you're curious about trying any of these, it's a great time. And after that, if you are listening to this after 2025 and you are still keen to use their products, don't worry, I will share my affiliate code and you can get 15% off their products anytime. You'll find that again in the show notes. So again, hopefully this is just giving you the information that you need. You don't need to go and buy BodyBio products, but at least you know how these nutrients affect your body and can be beneficial as well. If you do try any of them, let me know which ones make the biggest difference from your skin, because I love hearing from you. I am always inspired by hearing your stories, and you can also share them in my free group, the Autoimmune Forum, if you would like to join that. It's a community of people living with autoimmune disease and we're sharing our experiences over there. I often run challenges, there's lots of recipes and guides over there, so I'd love to have you over there. Again, the link for that will be in the show notes. So that's it for this week's Friday 5. Thank you for listening and I'll see you in next week's episode. Have a fantastic weekend and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Thank you very much for joining me today on the Autoimmune Reset. I really hope you enjoyed the discussion and be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss an episode. And if you liked it, I would hugely appreciate a review on iTunes, as it helps me understand what you like about the podcast and to help share the information with more people. I'm excited to speak to you next time. And remember, You have the power to take the reins on your health. So keep the faith and celebrate the small wins. Until next time.